evening, everybody, and welcome to a brand new season of GPVWC Formula Sprint 1. My name is Eoin Harmon. I'm delighted to welcome along for this opening broadcast at the Imola circuit, aka the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari. And in the booth with me today, it's none other than Yousuf bin-Suhayl. So welcome along, Yousuf. How are you?
Thanks, Owen. I'm doing really well. Excited for a brand new season of.
Yeah, I'm here, yeah. Yousuf, put on. Yeah, anyway, good to have you along, Yousuf. So the cars are just taking part in their final warm-up before the qualifying session, due to begin in about 2 or 3 minutes. So we're going to take this moment to probably break down the season, our 30 competitors for FS1. We'll be getting a walkthrough through them, and indeed the other elements of the season and what we can expect from the different teams and drivers. Yeah, plenty to look forward to in that regard before the actual action begins. Yeah, so the elements that we're going to look forward to, the fact that drivers have promoted or have been relegated from FS1 since 2022, and you can certainly anticipate strong showings from the likes of TCS Off Racing or HGP Motorsports. They did very well in 2022, but we also must consider TOP Esports. They've got the FS2 champion Jack Mayer in behind the wheel for them, and same with Shimon Frelick, another very strong competitor. So it's that variety that we're going to be looking forward to, hopefully throughout the campaign. And indeed, there are all kinds of teams that are going to be joining in to the series for the very first time from scratch, such as Pixelate Esports, Butler Motorsport, and then NetRex Grand Prix are a returning team after a few years away. They've changed their name recently, so just got to hopefully see if they can all bring something new to the table. And practice is just about to conclude now, so the qualifying will begin post-haste. So the drivers are now back in the garages, ready for the session to tick over into qualifying. Just gotta see if we're all back in control. I think Yousuf has just dropped out momentarily, so hopefully we'll have him back as soon as possible. Yeah, we're just gonna wait and see until the clearance is given for qualifying to begin. There we go. Qualifying has now begun. We have 15 minutes or so to determine a pole sitter for our season opener. And yeah, there should be plenty of action. Yeah, there we go. Green light. So yeah, the 15 minutes can begin. And first on track, it's Mike Quint representing the very long-running veteran team here, Malta Force GP. While they didn't really hit the ground firmly in 2022, they'll be hoping their experience can lead them to greater success in this new season. Indeed, conditions look pretty satisfactory for hot lapping around here. There doesn't look to be any severe downpour. Apparently that could be a little bit cloudy, but should be absolutely fine. Just follow along this out lap for Mike. Getting through the famous Imola circuit here, and now the chicane coming up. Have to be alert to any hard impacts with the sausage curbs. There we go, good exit as well. Now we're looking forward to an onboard shot. Here it is for Quint. So getting down the home straight here before the Tambrello complex. Let's see if this can be a very competitive time to begin the session for Quint. Getting up to 6th gear, now down to 2nd, turn in, very tight. So watch out for more sausage curbs. Through nice and safely there. This is the Variante Villeneuve, the left and right. Tricky gravel there on the outside. 27.6 first sector split. Accelerating up the hill past Tosa, and then this will be the Piratella. Come up here, watch out for the 50-meter braking board. Lovely execution there on the exit of the apex as well. And now Acque Minerali, one of my favourite sections of this track. Lovely stuff. And we'll see what the Sector 2 split time has to say. It's a 29.773. So yeah, this should be fairly solid to begin with. Sure, the Variante Alta is gone. And now the Ravazza, we saw absolutely fantastic move here in FS2. Anything similar to that today will be very much welcomed. Here we go. 1 and 2. That's through you go. See if you can match the pole time from last season. It was Owen McGaughey, 1 minute 22.8. As a matter of fact, this is 125.3. So, yeah, a little ways to go in that department, but all's good. Should be settled. And now the early nerves getting the lap in. Next up here for Build Sim, it's Maciej Hila.
Hello, I have returned.
And Yousuf is back. Welcome, Yousuf. A bit awkward on my own, but yeah, I hope you didn't miss too much.
I have missed, well, everything so far, because my PC decided to crash. My PC heard me talking and said, oh god, no, Yousuf's back on the microphone for a broadcast. Let me save everyone and just shut down. But I have been able to bamboozle my PC and return to the broadcast.
Very good. We followed along a lap on board with Mike Quint, but Szymon Frelich has gone on to provisional pole, about 200ths better off. So yeah, this is the independent qualifying. Everyone will be able to provide their own laps without direct competition on the circuit, so everyone gets going private. That's the private qualifying. So yeah, everyone's on the track at the same time, but they won't be interacting with each other. So next up here, we have Jack Mayer, who is the FS2 champion, representing TOP. I've been given the heave-ho to make sure it's the abbreviation TOP instead of an acronym. So yeah, let's remember that one, Yousuf. Let's see what Jack's first competitive time will be. He's on his outlap, I should stress, and that's my apologies there. So here we go. What is Jack going to be capable of here, Yousuf?
Well, let's see. Jack Mayer then starts off his lap as he makes his way down towards the Tamburello chicane. You can use so much curb on the R Factor 2 platform, and Jack Mayer absolutely flings his car through the chicane. You make your way then through this little kink and then down towards the Villeneuve chicane, a little bit faster than the Tamburello chicane. Pull the car all the way back over to the right, jump onto the brakes as you make your way through the hairpin of turn 7, Tosa, and then it is this beautiful run up the hill. A little right kick before you make your way in towards Piratella, which is this double left-hand corner. You can carry so much speed through the first left-hander, and then it is flat out through the second as you make your way down the hill towards Acqua Minerale. This right-hander, again, it's so slow, but then it gets even slower through the second part as you make your way back up the hill and now towards the Variante Alta, which is probably the slowest chicane on the circuit. You have to really use all of that yellow sausage curve just to help open up the car so you can get on the power early. Make your way down the hill now towards Rivazza, the final 2 corners on the circuit. Downhill braking, really tricky to get right. Once you get the first braking part right, the second corner a little bit easier. Just a little dab on the brakes and carry the speed through to complete a lap. Jack Mayer purple in the first 2 sectors.
Oh, just not quite able to link up there in the Sector 3, and it is second place for Jack, as Mike Quint has actually improved since I first mentioned him, and that pushes Shimon Frelick down to 3rd position.
A very good lap from Quint, the 1.5 tenths clear of Mayer, who is in turn another 10th ahead of Frelick. It was very, very close, and in fact you can still see from Frelick all the way down to Hamming in P17. You're talking about half a second separating 15 drivers. It is incredibly close to start off the Formula Sprint 1 Championship. 8 minutes though remaining in qualifying. That is a lot of time, and Shimon Frelick has found a lot of time in the opening sector. Nearly 2 tenths up with a purple Sector 1.
Yeah, this is engaging stuff here. Frelick is absolutely gunning to get back onto the pole position, and he's gone deep there out of Alta, so that may be track limits, unfortunately. So that first 2 purple times could be at risk. But nevertheless, we'll let him finish the lap and see what it is. Could sneak into the 124s here. No, just missed out. Yeah, bad mistake, but he does get up into 2nd position. And good here for Spark. Has a chance to go into pole here. 2 purple sectors back to back. Can he make it a hat trick? He certainly has the pole time. Just didn't get the final purple sector he would have loved.
And now Jan Dragoon up into P5 with a very quick lap. bin-Suhayl also improving up to P7. 7 minutes remaining, and let's not forget, the track is going to get quicker and quicker. More rubber is being laid in, and while this is a private qualifying session, I do believe everyone's lap times essentially counts towards rubbering in the track for everyone else. So the track will get a lot grippier over the 15 minutes. 6 minutes to go, which means we're going to be seeing most of the drivers making their way into the pits now and then heading out for one final flying run. And look how close it is between the top 4 drivers, separated by 0.04 of a second. But right now, I feel like my money's got to be on Shimon Frelick, right? 15 thousandths off, and we saw how quick he could have gone if he didn't make that mistake through Sector 3.
Yeah, certainly a wise bet there, Yousuf. TOP looking to do a double after a fantastic season FS2. They came 4th, I believe. So yeah, if they can get themselves promoted again, that'll be a huge boost to their morale. So onboard shot here. It's Menno Klant. We just seen him. And now Patrick Roszak going into the pits on our end. Yeah, so that's an aborted lap. It was a shame. He's definitely got the pace there in Sector 1. Looking strong. And here is Mayer. Go ahead there, Yousuf.
I was going to say, I feel bad for a couple of the drivers towards the back end of the field because they're putting in, decent times. They're actually quick times, but because of how close the rest of the field is, it makes them just feel like they're way off the pace, and it all really starts tumbling down once you get towards Delera in P25 from 25th down to about 30th is when the gaps really start opening up. So I'm not sure if they've made mistakes from their fast laps, as we see Jack Mayer having an almighty moment with the rear end coming out of the hairpin of Tosa up the hill. He's 13 thousandths down on his personal best through the opening sector. That's not a lot. He can definitely refine that time. Currently 1.5 tenths down on Gut and his provisional pole time.
Yeah, there's definitely plenty more where it came from there for Mayer. We're going to see him attack Oriente Alta very hard there. He has improved on his personal best. Just needs to get that little bit extra more out of the car. And we'll see what Ravazza can present for him. Yeah, he's got it settled down there now. One more left-hander to go, and then he can power down to the start-finish. Is there the pole time within him? It certainly is, yes. He has found a 1 minute 25.028. So not quite able to break that 1 minute 24 threshold, but a fantastic time. Thomas Harvey has just come in with the second best time, so close, 4 thousandths of a second between them there. So yeah, very strong there for Thomas Harvey.
4 thousandths of a second, that's absolutely nothing. But here is Shimon Freilich, 1.5 tenths up through sector 1. This is going to be an absolute stonker of a lap time if he can hook it together. Potentially our first lap in the 24s, and still 3.5 minutes remaining of our qualifying session. So there's actually time for the likes of Jack May and Thomas Harvey to make their way back into the pit lane and back out for another hot lap if they wish to do so. But let's see what the sector 2 time is looking like. It is green for Shimon Freilich, so he is still on a very quick lap.
Yeah, this is a very, very daunting lap time for the rest of the grid if he can convert it, especially if he does break that 1 minute 24 barrier. Got to get through Ravazza one last time. Yeah, he's going to commit to this lap, just missing the gravel trap on the outside. Here's the run. Turning in on, yes. He's found the 1 minute 24s. 1 minute 24.919. So yeah, that is the benchmark for everyone else to follow. This is Dragon for Rowan GP. This is not quite what he's looking for. He's certainly got the purple sector 2 in the pocket. Narrowly better off, but just that 2 tenths down in the first sector compared to Freilich. So yeah, he will need to try again one last time. Licini probably he's gonna have to abandon that. That's a pity.
And that was a really quick lap, right? He was half a second up on his previous best time, which would have taken him right onto the cusp of Shimon Freilich. Will he have enough time to get back to the pits? I don't think he does, so he's going to have to bring the Titans down, as Menno Klon has an almighty moment with the rear end coming out of Piratella. Somehow keeps the car pointing in the right direction. He's 2 tenths up on his opening sector, but again, a big moment with the rear end coming through Aqua Minerale, and that's going to be his lap over. So hopefully he's got enough in the tank to go for one more lap. But here is Shimon Freilich again pushing, and look at the rear end, how much commitment Freilich has as he pounds his brake pedal down into Ravazza. And this is going to be another almighty lap from Shimon Freilich.
Oh, he's just missed out. Yeah, nearly made an absolutely stonking lap there, which would have sent shivers down the spines of everyone else. And yeah, he's just going to go into the gravel trap and reset. Top 5 here for Mike Quint. We obviously saw him go first. And he's hanging in and around there. He wants to make absolutely sure he's within reach of the elite drivers here. It'd be a great boost to Multiforce.
This could be provisional pole.
It's close. He needs to find extra time in the third sector. He has, but yeah, 4th place there, Yousuf. Not bad.
It is so close. That final sector, purple for Mike Quint, but here is Thomas Harvey on an outlap, and this could be the lap to pip Shimon Freilich and take pole for Spark Racing Team through the final kink and to start what will be Thomas Harvey's final qualifying lap of the day.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to actually witness Thomas at work here in Sector 1. You wouldn't have seen that on board earlier, Yousuf, but now we can. Getting through Tamburello. Nicely executed there. Got to keep the power down and committed all the way to Villeneuve, getting the left and the right. It feels like an eternity to get through those corners, but now Tosa can be tricky. Yeah, he's down on his personal best there. He needs to get a 10th.5 really on Freilich to stand a chance here, as the checkered flag is now out. Everyone's time from this moment on will have to be their final effort. Yeah, now this is the great run down into Acque Minerali. Yeah, that's smoothly done. Got to keep it off the runoff as best you can, though. Now we'll see Alta, what can produce here. Yes, purple sector 2, but he needs to find that bit extra, though, Yousuf.
I don't think this is going to be enough from Thomas Harvey. He needs an almighty final sector. This might be enough to pip Jack Mayer for second, but I don't think he's going to be able to find the time to close into Freilich. You can see the rear end just squirreling around, too wide from Thomas Harvey, down into Rivazza, and that's going to be his lap over. Surely this isn't an improvement.
No, that's a disappointment. Mayer has got back into second place, so a TOP 1 and 2 as things stand. Dragon might have something to say about this, though, for Rowan. He's not quite able to meet his own personal best so far. And yeah, he's going to just power it and see what happens. Certainly not in the 124s, no. He stays in P9.
1 second separating the top 21 drivers. And to be honest, considering how close it is, Szymon Freilich with pole by over a tenth is a big margin, weirdly. I know that we're saying, 1/10, what a huge margin, but when you consider just how close the rest of the field is here, Owen, that is actually really impressive from Szymon Freilich. Quite a few of the other drivers, I think, did have the pace to kind of match that time, but couldn't quite hook their laps together. As we see someone having a really nice 360 on the way down towards Acque Minerale. That was very impressive. 10 out of 10 for style points.
Yeah, I have 2 sort of cutouts of the stream. So yeah, I just saw it back there. It was the YouTube version that was behind. Yeah, I saw that. Very smoothly done. So anyway, let's summarize our grid for race 1 in FS1. It is, of course, the aforementioned Freilich in pole position ahead of his teammate Jack Mayer in second. Thomas Harvey has done a good job there to settle into third, with Quint, Gut, Lehu, Martin, Rochak, Dragoon and Watson in the top 10.
And then you got Menaclont in P11 ahead of Mashi Heiler, Mateusz Subinski, Mika Hakimi, Mirko Lucchini, Federico Russo, Mateusz Guzowski, Patrick Novotny, and Lucas Thailand. Why do I get all of the hard names?
Yeah, Thailand, we should remind ourselves he pulled off one of the moves of the season already, and it's only the first week down at Rivazza, so he gets another chance around Imola. Completing the grid, we have Hoekstra, Koenig, Volkanov, Furia, Volks, De Vries, De Lira, Mirum, Marino, and Fuentes.
Fuentes just struggling to get a good lap time in. As we will now have a warm-up session before heading into our first race of the day.
Yeah, about 10-minute warm-up for the drivers, getting their strategies set up ahead of our first race, a 31-lap edition here, so that'll keep the drivers occupied around the famous Imola circuit. That will hopefully stay dry. Like, it does feel there are a few clouds in the air given the lighting, but I suppose it shouldn't be a problem, and we can remain dry running to the end of the race. And I suppose, Yousuf, this is our first broadcast together, so hopefully this will be a successful time between us. So yeah, if there's any predictions you'd like to make, this is probably the ideal time to do it.
Oh, me and my predictions. Deary me. You know what? Szymon Freilich to take the win. I can't say a top esports 1-2, so I'll say, you know what? Let's go with Mike Quint second, Thomas Harvey third. I'm sorry, Jack Mayer, but you're not on the podium for today.
Yeah, I don't think you'd be too pleased to hear that, but yeah, so far so good for Jack. Of course, from my time monitoring the Super League via my Twitter feed, which has since moved on to a brand new team, and I wish them the best of luck. Yeah, I would know Jack very well, obviously. I've spoken with Hoekstra, I know him very well. So hopefully he can bring HGP some success. Zucchini, yeah, another driver I'd be familiar with. Amari Watson, similarly. So yeah, I'll be rooting for those guys while still remaining objective. And then we have our rookies to the season, such as Carlos Martin for NetRex, Fureya for Butler, and then the duo for EP Lab, Marino and Fuentes. They're both brand new to FS1. So yeah, that'll be plenty of variety on the grid. So that's what will keep me very much interested and excited.
Another thing to bring up as well here at Imola is it's relatively quite a difficult track to overtake at. You don't have a lot of big braking zones at the end of like very long straights. Turn 1 is one opportunity to do it. But even so, the Tamburello chicane isn't the best overtaking spot. So I think we might actually see a lot of this coming down to strategy and probably consistency as well.
Yeah, the drivers have to remain very consistent around Imola. Yeah, as you rightly point out, the overtaking opportunities are quite sparse. You won't get many chances to really get a slipstream on any of your body. For example, from Acqui Minerali to Variante Alta, it's such a short run out. Your best hope is someone making a mistake in front of you or just getting a super run. Yeah, again, we're probably just going to keep mentioning it over and over again. That overtake at Ravazza from Thailand, that was absolutely golden. So yeah, if any drivers feel like performing something like that, they're more than welcome to do it if they can keep it clean. Yeah, we'll just see any competitive times in warm-up. Yeah, they're just really logging their first times about now, Yousuf. Yeah, I'd say a lot of drivers fueled to the brim here for the race 1. Carlos Martin there, 1:26. Yeah, these will be competitive race lap times. Other drivers probably just taking their sweet time and making sure their plans are going to be ready to go.
And just a case about getting used to driving and racing with a full load of fuel. No more qualifying laps coming through. We saw those 24s in qualifying, the high 24s coming through, but now we're going to be seeing these slightly slower lap times, a couple of seconds slower nearly. And one of the big differences between qualifying and the race, and one of the things that I particularly really struggled with during my time racing in the GPVWC Academy Series and in Formula Sprint 2 as well, was the fact that in qualifying you can really throw the car around, and you have to throw the car around, and you can kind of get used to doing that and taking those risks because it's qualifying. But in the race it's so much harder to do that, because if you do make a mistake you're going to lose so much time, and these cars on R-Factor 2 really require you to be so forceful with them and kind of unnaturally aggressive at times. And the drivers that can do that and do that consistently and in a way that doesn't risk them spinning, or that they know that they won't spin, are just going to be so much quicker over a race period than someone who can't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you want to make sure your tire strategies, you can be adaptable, obviously, if things around you change, but if you burn out your best compounds too soon, you're going to be very, very compromised, and so you have to claw back any losses when you change your compound. So yeah, nice on board shot here with Martin at the moment. He's gone a little bit too deep there out of Acqui Minerali. Yeah, so yeah, as you say, Yousuf, we've got to, obviously witness the drivers keeping it consistent. They have to stay calm, even if the pressure gets to a boiling point. Yeah, the matter is they've got the strategies in mind that they'd like to follow, And if something happens that they can adapt to it, they will need the tire life in the window that is appropriate for them, so that they can make adjustments where necessary.
Speaking of tyres, I was speaking to our director and our producer for the day, Tom Stevens, who's giving me some info on what we can expect in terms of tyre strategies for today. Our first race, 31 laps. It's the beach race, the less sprint of the 2 sprint races. Expecting to see a one-stop for all of the drivers that qualified in the top 10. They're going to have to start on the soft tyres. For the drivers outside of the top 10, they get to start on the hard tyres, which might give them a slight strategic advantage, but just expecting the one stop. In the second race, that's where things could get fun. At 21 laps, and probably going to be a no-stopper, so the drivers will be just sticking on their one set of tyres for the entire race. And maybe we'll see some drivers going for the softs, maybe we'll see some drivers going for the hards, and it'll be interesting to see how the two options compare to each other as the race progresses.
Indeed, so we'll have to compare. We'll see which drivers outside the top 10, depending on their tire choice, if they can compete realistically with the guys who have the extremely competitive qualifying time set. Yeah, we'll have the chance to really get stuck into the data and see how the race can unfold. So we'll see, as an example there, wide goes one of the drivers ahead of Quint. Yeah, he gets the lap solidly done there. Should be absolutely fine. Yeah, so keep an eye out for any other drivers there. So there we go, you can see Hakimi's gone top of the warm-up leaderboard. So we'll see if Santen have anything up their sleeves there. It'll be interesting to see how those drivers get on. If they were aiming for a good qualifying spot and they didn't get it, could they weave a new strategy to get them where they their ambitions will want to take them?
Long race ahead, and so often we see on the opening laps a lot of incidents can occur. And let's not forget, this is the first race of the season. There's going to be maybe some nerves coming in. I think it's going to be really important to see how this opening couple of laps really can.
Yeah, I'm nervous enough as it is. This is my full-on debut in the commentary box. I did one race as a substitute last season with Caitlin Penny, and it was the Canadian Grand Prix in Super League. So I was able to work with her, and it went, I think, very well. Yeah, this is the creme de la creme here in FS1, the open, the grand opening for the season. Yeah, plenty of action ahead of us here. 1 minute to go in this final warm-up session.
To be fair, that is one thing that I will say. When I did race in FS2, I did beat Caitlin Penny, and I think I have 100% victory rate against GPVWC commentators when I'm racing. That being said, I didn't actually race against Shimon Frelich or Menno Klont. I don't think who else didn't I race against? I think it was just those two particularly that I didn't race with. But I beat Caitlin, that's what matters. I wasn't able to beat Jack Nicholls, so I don't have, the overall commentator superiority. But I'll take it. For a couple of races in FS2, it was a lot of fun. Some really good battles, some incidents as well, which makes it all the more fun.
Yeah, it's very impressive, Yousuf. Indeed, for your own bragging rights, you want to continue that as you wish to proceed. So, yeah, we're just running out of time here in the warm-up session, so everyone has to be ready now. This is the D-Day. They've got to be absolutely confident that their plans are ready to go. If they're going to make any mistakes, such as Lehu there, they'll have to get them out of the system right now. So the checker flag is out.
I will say something for Alex Lehu. I absolutely love Alex. He's a really quick driver, but he is the one driver who always finds himself in so much misfortune. Sometimes not his fault, sometimes it is his fault. And I think if anyone is going to be part of a lap 1 incident, it's somehow going to be Alex Lehu, just because of his history. Also, Frank Hamming racing with number 73. That's a very special number, because that's my racing number. So I guess I'm now a Frank Hamming fan for the rest of the season.
Very good, yeah. Omari Watson is using number 5, my lucky number. So, Omari, hopefully you make that count if we're going to have the number representatives for us today.
Sebastian Vettel number.
Yes, yes.
Is that why number 5 is your racing number?
No, it's because my birthday is October 5th.
Ah, okay. I see how that works. That's sensible. So why is it 5 and then not 10?
Well, I suppose well, I have 5 people in my family, so I think 5 is a lucky number. And Michael Schumacher had number 5 in 1997, so yeah, that was the first full season I got to watch.
1997. He had moved over to Ferrari by then, right?
That's right. Yeah, he had the 1996. The F310 was a terrible car by his standards. So yeah, it was a much better season in 1997. But obviously, what happened at the end, yeah, let's not talk about that.
I'm trying to remember what happened at the end of 1997. Wait, I will figure this out. So 94, 95 was Schumacher.
Yeah.
96 was Villeneuve winning against Schumacher when Schumacher did his. Was it 97 when Schumacher tried to take out?
Yes. Damon Hill was 96 champion.
Oh, yes, of course it was Hill and then Villeneuve, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well. See, I had the right idea. I just had the wrong year.
Yeah, the mid-90s were quite... you can sometimes get them blended into each other, but yeah.
I wasn't alive then, is my defense.
Sure, there are good resources nowadays.
I think the first race I really remember watching was probably... I remember watching, it was either free practice or qualifying. I think for Australia 2005.
Wow.
Or 2004, one of the two. But here we go then. Owen, do you want to take us through the grid order for today's race?
Yeah, just a quick refresher as the formation lap has begun. Freilich and Mayer have performed a front row lockout for TLP Esports. Harvey is third there, ahead of Mike Quint. And we've got Gut, Lehu, Martin, and Rocek in positions 5 to 8. Followed up by Dragon, Watson, Hamming, and Klunt. Just outside in the middle of the pack, we've got Hyla, Zminski, Hakimi, and Lucchini. From 17th down, we've got Russo, Kuskowski, Novotny, and Tylen. And we've got Hoekstra, Koenig, Volkanov, and Faria. Followed up by Folks, De Vries, Delera, and Miram. Or Miram, excuse me. And on the final row, we have Marino and Juanma Fuentes, each for EP Lab Racing there. So yeah, they'll hope that their rookie appearance goes according to plan for them.
I think something else to note is the drivers will be starting on the hard tires. Seeing a couple of those yellow icons appearing on our leaderboard, most notably Mr. Russo starting down in P17. Let's also not forget the reverse grid for race 2, finishing towards the back end of the top 10, or even maybe in 14th, 15th could be such a good opportunity. And look at Shimon Freilich, how he's angling his car for turn 1.
Yeah, that's a very aggressive movement there from Freilich. And we're just seeing the final EP Lab cars getting sorted there in the back row. Tire strategy should become more clear now. Those guys on the yellow stripes, seeing how they can go the distance, hopefully for their tire change. So, waiting the red lights to signal the yeah, the provisional settings. And then here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and FS1 for 2023. It's go. Let's see what the TOP guys can do. Their launch is absolutely fantastic. Just gotta make sure they know where they both are. Running down to turn 1 now into the first chicane of Tamburello. And they're both clear. But yeah, there's a car in the gravel trap in the background. Let's double check who that is in a moment. But yeah, it's a good start for the TLP guys. Harvey and Quint gonna go side by side for 3rd and 4th. Into sector 1 now. And more yellow flags there. Trouble at Villeneuve. Let's see again what could be happening there. Another win down here, Yousuf.
Trying to hold it around the outside of Tosas. They're now heading towards the double left-hander of Piratella. Most of our drivers keeping it relatively clean, but we are seeing a couple of victims of lap 1 shenanigans through the opening couple of chicanes. Montrelli still leads from Jack Mayer, a half-second advantage. And these two top esports drivers are just going to be trying to work together to pull away from Thomas Harvey and Mike Quint, especially before DRS that comes into play.
Yeah, exactly that. You've got to be wary of the DRS at all times once it is enabled. Yeah, a solid first lap for Freilich. He'll be very pleased with that, and he has his teammate to buffer him for this opening stint. Yeah, very, very competitive times. Yeah, we'll see each driver get their first laps in where necessary. We're going to follow Dragoon here, seeing if he can make a move on goods and wide and wide, wide. That's a big, big mistake. Was it Zubinski or something? Oh, it was a Clant. Yeah. That was a horrible mistake to make. Yeah, shooting well wide. Yeah, we'll look at. Yeah, this is a shot with the number 67, Gila. Getting up the hill now before the chance comes up here at Tella. He's defending from Hakimi. And we'll see if there's any opening here, but yeah, at the moment it looks settled up for our drivers. Down the back, yeah, Folks must have gone into a spin at the first corner of the Vries also. Adrift. Here's the aforementioned Lahoo. Thankfully, his first lap didn't burn up on him, but his defense has backfired somewhat as Roshak has made his way through into 5th place.
Yeah, I think Lahoo just getting squeezed out on the exit of the chicane by Quint, and then Rojak was able to follow through, and now we're riding a ball with Carlos Martin, who wants to find a way through on Alex Lahoo as well. DRS not enabled on this lap, and you can see at the front that Jack Mayer has almost pulled a second to Thomas Harvey, and that is really critical in this little DRS battle, because it's going to mean that the top esports drivers can just drive away, as that's Mateusz Zubinski trying to make amends for his lap 2 mistake 1 lap ago.
Yeah, he's got to settle down from this point on. Any further trouble will knock him behind Hakimi for position there. But now let's focus on the top 5 again. Mike Quint has seemingly dropped back. Rochak is flying. So yeah, the build sim, Volpino, number 18, is doing a fantastic job to get himself into contention just behind the podium setters here, the real stars of the series, if we can call them that so soon. So yeah, we'll see what trouble possibly Mike was just minding his own business and he was overtaken fair and square. Yeah, he'd be very upset to have lost that position. And then Lahoo will be determined to fight back himself after being 5th placed not too long ago.
And that little battle we saw 1 lap ago has really cost this group of drivers, falling back from Thomas Harvey, but has just about stayed within a second of Jack Mayer as they come across the line. But here is Alex Lahoo really close to the rear end of Quint.
Yeah, he picks the inside line of the DRS straight before Tamburello. Now he's got to slam on the brakes. Yeah, move complete. It's a struggle here for Quint, and he's lost control. Lahoo is put onto his roof, his roll bar, and he's out of bounds. Oh my goodness, Yousuf, have you seen anything like that?
what did I tell you? Alex Lahou and these unfortunate mistakes that keep on happening. He is such a quick driver, but we see this happening again and again. And this time, Alex Lahou battling for P4 just loses that rear end, just loses traction coming out of the Tamburello chicane, and then is just caught by, I'm trying to remember who that was. I think it was Mike Quint who caught him. And then Carlos Martin is the one who really lost out, dropping all the way down to P12 from what was P5, P6 before.
Yeah, that was the battle for top 5. The chat is going absolutely crazy after Lahou's absolutely heartbreaking incident there, knocking him out of the first race here at Imola. Now that the dust is probably settling down there, Vincent Gut has inherited 6th place, and then it's Dragoon in 7th. So yeah, that's absolutely devastating for Lahou. We're going to see Omari Watson's on board, the aforementioned number 5. For Netrex GP. He's got the outside line coming into the Tamburello chicane. Can he hang it? No, that's a solid defense from Jan. And Watson will have to try again next time, but just behind. Oh, there's another tag. That's Hakimi put into a tag, and Martin has dropped down as well, entering the gravel trap. He's got the runoff area though. He can rejoin.
You can almost sense the revenge that happened as one of them got spun around and said, no, I will not go down without you. Just tags the rear end. And Dubinsky says, thank you very much, I'll take both places, and makes his way up into P11. But more disaster now for Carlos Martin, and I'm just wondering if maybe he has a little bit of damage on his car. Maybe that's why that incident occurred, due to some damage from his previous contact with Alex Lahou. But what we do know is our front 2 top esports drivers within a second, and then 1.5 seconds clear of Thomas Harvey in P3, who is in turn a further 3 seconds ahead of Patrick Rojak in 4th place.
Yeah, that is fantastic work for the TOP guys. They've made their dominance from qualifying count so far. Yellows in probably the transition from sectors 2 and 3, seemingly all right. We don't know something yet. But Build Sim are looking for more points here. Hila on the inside has made the move, stick on Kalant. And yeah, that is clean as a whistle, Yousuf. What's Lucchini going to do? Can he make it stick as well? Yes, it looks like he has on Thailand.
I think that's on Kozovsky, because that does look to be Zubinski up ahead. The two almost still side by side, but Lucchini gets the job done. It is Kozovsky ahead, so Zubinski's on the back of the train with Menno Klont. Are those two teammates? Because I think they've got... they are indeed teammates. Right, they've got the same livery on their cars. Still half a second though separating our top 2. Here they are, Shimon Frelich and Jack Mayer. And just behind you can see Thomas Harvey. So if these two do start battling, that will allow Thomas Harvey to join into the fold. So they don't want to start battling just yet. Also, you can see on the timing tower in 4th place, Patrick Rojak almost a second clear of Mike Quinton. That's going to be so impactful. Just to break out of the DRS train and start to pull away and just give himself a little bit of a comfort buffer in 4th place.
Yeah, we know now which drivers are really showing their mettle so far. We'll see if Jack wants to give his teammate Freilich any signals that he wants to overtake and have a competition of it. At the moment, it's not necessary. So Mayer can stay behind for the moment. But if any mishaps were to occur for Freilich, then yes, Jack would be very thankful and take that race lead all for himself.
Keeping an eye on the gap between Vincent Gut in 6th and Jan Dragoon in 7th. Currently just over 2 seconds. I think Omari Watson has a bit of extra pace over Dragoon if he can find a way through. There's also another yellow flag temporarily out in, I believe, sector 1, but it has been cleared, so probably someone just running wide through the Tamburello chicane.
Yeah, it's very quick. Exit out of Tamburello if you have any trouble. Yeah, if it is just a brief run-off, that's all good. So we'll see if the DRS zone coming up here for Mayer can enable him to go for the move here. He's well and truly pulled out the gap on Harvey. It'll be 2.5 seconds between those two. Freilig's lead is 3 seconds. What is Mayer going to do? We're still very much in the infancy of this race. A long way to go. Mayer, yeah, he's still content to follow his colleague's lead here. So those two are going to remain in formation as far as I'm concerned. It'll be just really the pit stops or any last minute drama. I think these two are looking very strong. Yousuf, but let's look at Novotny down in P19. This is a battle with Friesland's König, and unfortunately that did not pay off. It was a close one into Tamburello, but it was not an overtaking opportunity.
Novotny tried to pull off the dummy, tried to look to the outside, then switched over to the inside.
Hakimi. I think that's Hakimi. And the rear wing has gone bye-bye. That is a big crash. Yes, that is Santan's Hakimi out of race one. Did you see that one a bit clearly, Yousuf?
I didn't know. I was looking at the battle behind. I don't know if he lost the rear end by himself or if there was contact with Hoekstra behind him. But that was a battle for P16 and, well, disaster for the pair of them as we now look towards Mike Quint, who's still on the back of Vincent Gut. Couple of tenths separating them, and then just ahead of these two should have been Patrick Rojak. Oh, sorry, this is Patrick Rojak in front of Mike Quint, and then Vincent Gut behind them. Maybe Mike Quint can have a go. He's got a lot of overspeed.
Oh, that is sensational to see that Malta Force on a charge, and it is P4. Rojak had absolutely no response, but there is plenty of time to compete and see if there is a way back in front. Yeah, Quint made that look very, very easy. Beautiful move.
Just opened up the DRS, got the overspeed, and textbook overtake, really. Now Mike Quint, can he try to close the gap up to Thomas Harvey? 4 seconds to the train. Well, I say the train, 4 seconds up to the podium. And then Thomas Harvey is a further 3 seconds behind Jack Mayers. We've got another yellow flag out. Lucas Thailand has a bit of a train forming behind him with Mukini and Vaquinov, and then Hoekstra further few seconds behind with Koenig and Novotny just behind.
Oh, Dragoon, that's deep into Aqua Minerale, and he'll be furious with that as he's allowed the Hyperion of that's Guzovsky. Guzovsky had a very simple time there to get through, and now he's going to be chasing down his teammate there. So yeah, that's P10 and P11 for Hyperion.
Let's not forget as well, Dragoon was running in P7 in front of Amari Watson, so he's lost a lot of places as a result of that incident. And now Vincent Gut closing in to Patrick Rojak all the way down the straight, but not close enough to go for a move, as Patrick Rojak now has a DRS of his own, which makes it a little bit more difficult to be overtaken on the opening straight.
Big oversteer there for Rojak. He got it collected though out of Villeneuve, and now a very, very daunting left-hander at Tosa. Got to get down to second gear for that one. We'll see if Guts, we remain on board with the Spark number 79. Yeah, he's following along as he should. Beautiful run down here to Aqua Minerale. We saw the trouble there for Dragoon the last lap. And yeah, that's collected nicely, keeping those curbs within his control. Doesn't want any snap oversteer. Another battle there into Alta with sausage curves, but again, no problems there. And yeah, the battle for fourth will rage on. This is a very valuable points so early into the season for these guys.
I'm also just wondering if Szymon Freilich is going to be pitting soon, because he's really stretched out the gap to Jack Mayer. It's now nearly 1.5 seconds, so I don't know if he just has a straight up pace advantage, or if he's decided, right, I'm going to use up all of my tyres now so that I can get a gap, make my pit stop, and then if he is doing so, going for the undercut, we'll see if Jack Mayer can make the overcut work, as now Patrick Rojak defending hard from Vincent Gut, who was having a look at the outside on the entry into the Tamburello chicane.
Yeah, this is a crucial moment here for Gut. Rorschach is absolutely determined to keep this 5th place. That DRS really put Gut into a position to overtake, and we're going to see similar here in the run down to Villeneuve between Lucchini and Volkanov. This is the cutoff really for the points paying positions, 14th and 15th, so you don't want to lose anything else from this point on. There'll be Novotny on the soft tires as well. He will be a bit further down the road there, but if these two make any errors, they will be out of the points.
And let's not forget as well for Lucchini, he's running on those hard tyres. So this is the kind of point where you'd expect the hard tyres to be starting to match the pace of the soft tyres, maybe getting a little bit quicker. Maybe it needs another 5 or so laps to get that transition phase, but expect Lucchini to start working his way up the field shortly. And in that final stint, when he's got the faster soft tyres, he can really make a charge. So currently running in P14, wouldn't be surprised if Lucchini could make his way into the top 10 by the end of this race.
Yeah, it'd be great to see that for Lucchini to pull out a top 10 from here. I did notice Federico Russo for Alpha Delta was in the pits. Must be on strategy there. He's already a lap down, unfortunately. So anything from this point on is probably going to be a test session for him now, just to try and get himself ready for race 2 and hoping for better. We'll continue with Rorschach, who is getting slidey. That is Techi there for the build sim driver. He's got to hang on in there. And this is a chance for Quint to pull away, as it does feel like Patrick is overstepping the mark a bit, Yousuf.
Patrick Rorschach just starting to make some of those mistakes. It's a little battle with Vincent Gut before, almost dropped him outside of that 1 second DRS zone to Mike Quint, but he's slowly been trying to eke his way back in. It's going to be touch and go on whether Patrick gets DRS this time round. If he doesn't, he is going to be a sitting duck for Vincent Gut in this battle for P5. And as we kind of expected, Omari Watson really hounding this group down. He's probably the quickest out of this whole group that leads up into P4. So Omari Watson looking at top 4 finish in his opening race of the season.
Yeah, this is great for Mike. He's pulled out about 3/10 on his nearest rivals in that last lap. So he is about on pace with the guys Mayer and Harvey on the podium. So if this strategy continues to pay off here for Quint, he should be very pleased, just being outside that podium celebration berth. But yeah, if he can pull away a bit further, he'll be out of Rorschach's DRS. But speaking of which, just out of Tamburello into Villeneuve, it's Zubinski for Hyperion. He'll be challenging the other Malta Force driver, Menno Klant.
And just taking a look at some of the recent lap times being set. Omari Watson, Vincent Gut and Patrick Rorschach all in the low 27s. Mike Quint, Thomas Harvey in the high 26s. Jack Mayer as well. Meanwhile, Shimon Frelek lapping in the mid 26s, continuing to extend his gap nearly 2 seconds. Well, it has just hit 2 seconds over his teammate Jack Mayer as Top Esports continue to look solid on the opening round of Formula Sprint 1.
Yeah, it's gone even better than I think anyone out of TOP. I do emphasize it is an abbreviation, TOP. They're having a joyous time of it, and they've just got to hang in there for the next 16 laps or so, 17 laps, give or take. So we'll carry on this onboard shot of Gut, but still Rorschach has the defensive guile necessary to keep the Spark driver at bay. You can still see that run down to Villeneuve. It's just too short. There's no way that Gut can get the necessary slipstream in these equal machinery.
And I think it's because Rorschach has DRS himself. I didn't double check to see if that rear wing had open, but I'm pretty sure it did, which is just what meant there was so little overspeed for Vincent Gut. And that's something that people quite often forget. if both cars don't have DRS, it's going to be easier for the car behind to overtake than if both cars do have DRS, just because you're getting a bit more of a slipstream effect as a result. So Vincent Gut struggling to find a way through on Patrick Grosjean, and it's kind of what we talked about during the warm-up part of the race, or just before we got into the race, and how difficult it is to overtake here at Imola. You really have turn one, and that's courtesy of the DRS, and through the rest of the track, you kind of just have to sit behind and follow the train.
Yeah, that is absolutely true 90% of the time, Yousuf, but those tank slappers are really worrying me for Rorschach. But here's our first pit stopper from the lead group. It's Jack Mayer. He will be taking a fresh set of tyres now, and we'll be very interested to see where he emerges back onto the track, because Shimon will be using that as a reference for himself, using his teammate as a reference point. We'll see now he's going to be outside the points. Yeah, he's dropping. It's probably ahead of Koenig at this stage. I know he's actually going to be ahead of, he's 14th ahead of Koenig.
And this is also really important to make a note of for our second race of the day, because the second race is going to be 21 laps, as opposed as we have a spinner. That was Vakvinov, who has lost his rear end on the... That's a really strange pace to lose it. He probably just had a tank slapper coming out the Tamburello chicane. But again, our second race of the day is 21 laps. Jack Mayer pitting from the soft tyres after 15 laps. That means he just doesn't think there's any more pace in them, which probably suggests that Jack Mayer is going to be going for the hards for our second race of the day. And if the likes of Shimon Frelich and Thomas Harvey, as that is a mistake for someone that Shimon Frelich is lapping, has to be careful on the exit of Rivazza to not collect the lap car. But Shimon Frelich navigates his way through fine as Thomas Harvey makes his way into the pit lane.
Yeah, I think now it's the right time, just on beyond the 50% mark, it is the right time for most guys to get into the pits. And that means Rorschach and Gut can have a battle for second and third now. And at last, Gut has made it through into second position. And that is a body blow for Rorschach, having had such a great defense against Gut. It's now run out, and with the clean air that's going to be open to them now, that'll be a chance for Gut to make Rorschach's those tank slappers, and he'll make them really, really suffer now. So yeah, we'll see if that can be remedied.
But that's really good news for Mike Grant, because essentially on his in-lap and now his out-lap, he's going to have the advantage of not being involved in a battle. I don't know how much time Vincent Gut lost overtaking Patrick Grosjean. I don't think it was a lot. I'm just looking at the sector times, and it was a pretty good opening sector for Vincent Gut, so maybe the DRS and the slipstream actually helping him out more than it disadvantaged him, as Shimon Frelich so late on the brakes coming down into Rivazza, shortly into the pits this time around, as he navigates his way through on a back marker that has no rear wing, and into the pits comes Shimon Frelich.
So yeah, you know, his target is to beat his teammate out of the pits. If he can get ahead of Lucchini, that'll be even better. So we'll watch him now get the tires changed to the yellow stripe mediums, and he'll be released on his way just about now. There you go, he drops the clutch and gets resumed. So an extremely long pit lane here in Imola. I feel extremely frustrating having to be on the speed limit for so long. And now the race leader for now is Vincent Gut. Here's Jack Mayer, he's on the home straight, turning the little curve there, Variante Bassa. And yeah, he will, yeah, so target achieved. Frelich has beaten Lucchini out of the pits, and therefore Mayer as well. So that's extremely, extremely impressive.
I do want to see what Lucchini's pace is like on these old hard tyres versus Jack Mayer on the new hards. Last time round, Lucchini with a 28.6, Jack Mayer 26.7, so 2 seconds a lap quicker on these fresher, harder tyres than Lucchini currently is. But Vincent Gut is leading. He's really taking those soft tyres an absolute distance, 17 laps. Nobody, I think, will make it to the 20 lap mark, and it's going to be, I think, a bit here and there on where the drivers decide to use the soft tyres for our second race of the day and essentially say, look, we're going to take the soft tyres, they're quicker for the majority of the race, and we'll just try to nurse them home through the final few laps, or whether they decide to take the hard tyres and just push throughout the duration of the race.
Yeah, for up to me, I'd rather be on the harder compound and just keep pushing. And now our temporary race leader, Vincent Gutt, is the latest driver to pit, and he's going to be followed in by Clont and Dragoon. So there we go, those top three guys held out for as long as they could with their tyres, but too much from this point on, it would be disastrous. So there we go, the TOP guys have made it back into the podium positions. Lucchini is the holdout. He's going to try and eke those tyres to probably the 20 lap target, as you say, Yousuf. So yeah, that is the chance now. The gap's pretty much about the same compared to what they were before the pit stops. If anything, Harvey's probably made a little bit of a gain on there those last few laps. Yeah, probably very small, but still notable. So Harvey not out of this race by any stretch.
Yeah, Harvey is 2 seconds down on Lucchini. Well, I mean, when you think about it, relative to Shimon Freilich, Jack Mayer is 1.5 seconds down, and then Thomas Harvey is further 2 seconds down. So I think it was Jack Mayer. Actually, yeah, pretty good stop from Thomas Harvey. Mike Quint has come out of this really well. He's now 3.5 seconds ahead of Vincent Gutt, who is in turn 1.5 seconds ahead of Patrick Rojak. And to be fair, Omari Watson having a decent showing. He's only a second behind Patrick Rojak, so he has gained a lot over the course of this pit stop phase as Jack Mayer stuck behind Lucchini, who has a big moment down into Rivazza, just locks up, rear end steps out, and into the gravel he does go.
Yeah, that's the worry. I probably tiptoed around the point, but yeah, those tyres were probably at the breaking point, and Lucchini was probably terrified at seeing one of the drivers in the TOP car right behind him, so he must have just lost concentration and completely swung it right ways, and now he's conceded. Yeah, he has to pit, and unfortunately I fear for Mirko that his chance at the points probably nip and tuck here. It's going to be very close.
Don't forget as well, those were the hard tyres, so you'd expect them to have lasted a fair bit longer than the soft, but still struggling coming towards the 20 lap mark. However, big thing here is for Lucchini is, yes, he has made a mistake, but let's not forget that he now has the soft tyres on his car, and that's going to be really helpful to make his way through the field. He is in the top 15, he is in the points, and we still have the likes of Zubinski, Plont, and Thylin still to pit, or extra still to pit. And once they do, that's going to be a few extra places going Lucchini's way.
Yeah, that is a very good point, Yousuf. So yeah, thanks for clarifying that for me. Maciej Hila is probably the nearest competitor to him. You can see on the timing tower the position changes from qualifying to this current point in the race. Guzkowski's done a great job there in 10th to rise up 8 positions. And it's just tragic there for Martin, having lost 12 places from a strong qualifying. So it's just a mixture of delight and despair for our drivers, having qualified earlier on in the session.
You say that, I've just had a look at Carlos Martin on the timing display, and he's actually just done a purple sector 1, so he is absolutely flying. And Carlos Martin is determined to make his way into the points and presumably try to make his way into the top 10 so that he has a shot of getting in that reverse grid and maybe having a pole start. And if he can get a pole start with the likes of Shimon Freilich, Jack Mayer, Thomas Harvey slightly further down the order, maybe he can just run away at the start and pick up a reverse grid victory.
Yeah, it would be a massive boost to the repackaged team NetRex. They have returned for the first time since 2019, so that would be great for the rookie Martin to get that kind of result. But he does have to continue those hot sectors to stand a chance. On board now with Dragoon. He'll be chasing down the pack of Hyperion guys. They're the two Matthews and then Clont as well in between them. So yeah, we'll be keeping very interested to see what happens here. But if anything, it's going to be the number 96 Guzkowski has the best chance. Oh, on 2 tires on the gravel there. That's Dragoon going to lose about 3 or 4 tenths there, Yousuf. So that's going to frustrate him, but he has a chance to rescue it, hopefully. Yeah, he's just about into DRS.
That's just going to help him close back into this group of cars up ahead that is being headed by Zubinski. Now, Zubinski, I believe, has made his pit stop, but I think he's the slowest in this train, and keeping this group behind him, including his teammate Mateusz Kuzowski. We'll see how long, though, he can keep this going for. I'm just trying to see if there are any other close battles. I'm trying to keep my eyes on Lucchini. Last time round, not particularly faster than bin-Suhayl, only 2 tenths faster in the 26s though. So in fairness to Lucchini, he's matching the pace of Szymon Frelick at the very front of the field, just 1 tenth slower. What about further down the order, Carlos Martin? Again, 26.7. Carlos Martin, last time round, fastest man on circuit. So Carlos Martin is lapping at a very, very fast rate, but only gaining by around 4 tenths to the group of cars in front of him.
Yeah, our race leader has hit the 10 laps to go point of the race. Yeah, our interest is truly in this battle for the top 10. Clont will be pleased with the P9 if he can hang on to it, just to get some points on the board to begin with. Yeah, he would love to threaten either of these Hyperion drivers, representing Poland, the pair of them. Yeah, it's all Polish team there. So we'll see that Clont has more preparation work to do. Zubinski has got a solid hold here of 8th place. Yeah, through Villeneuve they go. Yeah, it's just a case of driver A has control of the pack, and then the 3 guys behind just have to stay close to each other and then plan an attack late on. So yeah, solid enough exit there. Could have been worse. Yeah, good job for Zubinski.
Watching all of the cars making their way through Tosa, it's like they're on ice. It's an adverse camber corner, which means that the car just always wants to slide away from you, and you can see just how tentative the drivers are as they make their way through Tosa, just to make sure that the rear end doesn't get away from them, that they don't understeer massively, and then become very susceptible heading up the hill towards Piratella.
Yeah, those off-camber corners can be very dangerous if you put the car just out of its ideal performance range, or putting the tyres at risk when they were getting worn. This is a good run for Guzkowski, though. So he's closing in on the Malta Force driver, if anything. Dragoon looking to make up for that error. So yeah, it's all up in the air between these 4. Yeah, that DRS is going to help Clont stay ahead. Yeah, it's going to get very, very touchy. Guzkowski, I think he's probably the most likely to make a move. If anything, he's looking very strong. But Dragoon also, he's really recovered from that dropping of the tyres onto the gravel trap.
Oh my. Last time round, Carlos Martin with the 26.7. Patrick Novotny at 28.1. Philip Koenig at 27.2. So Carlos Martin is really closing in to the 2 in front of him, but he is 2 seconds behind Novotny right now, and then a further 1.5 seconds behind Koenig. I think it's just a little bit too little, too late from Carlos Martin. Actually, I won't say too little, because it's a really impressive amount that he's closing into the group in front of him, but it is just too late. Too much damage done in the opening 5-10 laps of the race to Carlos Martin and the Netrex GP car.
Yeah, it will be still helpful to get those kind of points in, just to get race 1 out of the way and resume for the reverse grid race 2. So yeah, this pack continue to be very evenly matched, and yeah, just waiting and waiting that long home stretch. It is as good as you can get here at Imola. The great overspeed here for Menno, but it's just not enough. He's really, really getting under the skin of Zabinski now. And yeah, it's just so close between these guys. There's just the minor fractions of a second will split them in the end. And it's just determined. It's going to determine who on earth can actually get the success out of this group.
I tell you who else is putting in some good laps. Mr. Mirko Lucchini. He has been gaining about 0.8 on the last lap to bin-Suhayl, who has in turn gained a lot of time to Lucas Thylin. Did Hyla make a mistake? Because I thought it was Hyla who was ahead of Thylin. But either way, we're talking about 2 and a bit seconds separating these three in the battle for P12.
Yeah, that is going to be a case, yeah. Maciej Hila for Ilsim Volpino. We'd love to catch up to Thylin and make a race out of that one. It's 1.5 seconds separating those two. Yeah, we'll see if the top 10 battle that we followed along for the last 5 or 10 minutes or so, it's felt like these guys want the spotlight in lieu of the guys for TOP running away with it so far. That's Guskowski getting the pressure placed onto him by Dragon. We'll see if anything happens. It's just a case of follow the leader. Constant battling here. Just the times separating guys are so minimal, within 0.2 of each other lap by lap. We'll see if the onboard here for Jan can give us any further clues as to what may happen. Unfortunately, it looks like Yousuf has had another drop in connection, so I will do my best to carry on in his absence. I'm sure he'll be back in a moment, though. Yeah, a bit of time lost here for Dragoon in Sector 2. I think, yeah, he's lost about half a second to Guzovsky. Guzovsky, I should try and practice that one a bit more. So yeah, it's a case of Dragon's probably the most frustrated of the guys here, because he wants, he can see all those points in front of him, and he just can't get near them. So we'll see if Menno can put the pressure on. But if anything, it's Guzovsky. He's going on the outside line into Tambrello, but it's shut down quickly by the Malta Force Dutchman there. That's not going to happen. So we're getting towards 5 laps to go. It's getting ever closer. But as of right now, the battle just rages on and on and on. You can see Frelick's lead is 4 seconds now. He's reached the 4 seconds, and he is gaining more and more time on his teammate. So yeah, it's a pretty safe bet if you want to put the opening day's winner in race 1 under Frelick's column. Harvey in 3rd place. We haven't seen him make major moves on Mayer. Tongue twister there, but it looks like those top 3 guys just need to stay calm. It is 5 laps to go. So yeah, those guys are looking solid enough for the race 1 podium. Quint in 4th place is losing time compared to Harvey, but his threat of Vincent Gutt and company have vanished. And Rochak in 6th place there, looking solid. And then Watson, who was impressing Yousuf just a while ago, he has made a good break for it in 7th. So now we'll see if Guzovsky can make that move. If he hasn't made up the time necessary that last lap, Clont gained 0.2 compared to him. So yeah, it is fascinating stuff here to conclude race 1, but no one is able to make that crucial move to say, I am the better driver, not you today. Another run down to Acque Minerali. It can threaten drivers if they lose concentration. It is a really bad place to lose it if it does happen. And hopefully delighted to make a return for Yousuf. Yousuf, can you hear me?
I can indeed. My PC hates me today, you can see.
Gosh, that's dreadfully unfortunate, especially on our debut as a team together. But yeah, these things happen. If anything, you probably hear my voice giving out a bit, so I do apologise for that. But yeah, we haven't seen much change, Yousuf. It's still the podium guys as you were, and this battle that has just pulled it on and on and on from Zubinski down to Dragoon. It's just stayed exactly the way it is. There was a chance for Guzovsky to make a move on Clont, but it didn't work out.
I mean, to be fair, Thomas Harvey's really closing into Jack Mayer. If team orders were a thing, maybe Szymon Frelick would slow down just to give Jack Mayer some DRS to pull away from Thomas Harvey, but I'm sure this early in the season, Szymon Frelick wants nothing to do with that whatsoever. He wants to get his head down and pull away from this two behind. Doesn't want to risk anything, but I have a feeling Thomas Harvey is going to find a way through on Jack Mayer and make his way up into second place. Patrick Rojak has also closed to almost within a second of Vincent Gutt, and we still have this big battle for P8 with Zubinski at the head of the train.
Yeah, it is really a fine drive here for the guys representing Hyperion, especially Zubinski in that 8th place. He's never let it go once he's gained control of it. But yeah, this is our real opportunity. Harvey was very quick at that last lap, and he has DRS next time by on Mayer. So the pressure is truly on that champion of FS2 in 2022 to hang on to the team TOP's delightful start to the campaign. Yeah, we'll see a good Sector 1 last time by for Dragoon. Can he repeat that this time around with 3 to go? It's just extraordinary that these 4 guys have not slipped once. If anything, it was just Dragoon going wide that I keep referencing at Rivazza. That's all I've really seen out with him.
Sector 1, Thomas Harvey takes 2 tenths out of Jack Mayer. Sector 2, another 2 tenths going his way, and you can already see Jack Mayer taking the defensive line, trying to move across the track to break the slipstream of Thomas Harvey. We are going to have 2 laps to go once the drivers come across the line, and Thomas Harvey needs to get his head down and he needs to get a move done fast.
Yeah, there's just about 3 minutes to go in this race, and a good lap time for Jack. He's probably consolidated his advantage just a little bit. 127.2 that last time. Harvey gained 2 tenths, but it's still not enough. He's only half a second behind if you look at that interval table on your left side of the screen. Dragoon is looking good again. He's reviving his race. He can click 1 minute and then he has a problem and then he clicks again. So this is a great chance at the very, very last ditch to go on the inside. No, it's not possible. That is too deep, really, for Guzovsky to be threatened. But yeah, the pressure's going to be wilting these drivers down now. We'll keep an eye out on those times. Harvey's still making small gains on Mayer. As a matter of fact, you can see in the background that was Machihila in the build sim. He's gaining on these guys, but probably not enough to make it a 5-way battle to the end, Yousuf.
Thomas Harvey hasn't had a good middle sector. He's actually lost 2 tenths on Jack Mayer, so he's now 8 tenths down. And, well, this is going to be the final lap of the race, and Thomas Harvey's too far back to have a go into the Tamburello chicane, so it's going to have to be a last-ditch effort down towards Rivazza if Thomas Harvey wants this second spot on the podium.
Yeah, it is probably going to take a miracle, really, or else a driver error. Now we can check out the battle for the top 5. Gutt is fending off Rojak, but Rojak has not picked the opposite side, but he could still make this move work into Tamburello. Side by side they go, and wide in the background it's Watson. But this is a fantastic pass. Rojak has made it on the last lap, Yousuf.
Patrick Rojak has been biding his time, and on the last lap he gives it everything. DRS, all of the energy he can muster, and round the outside he squeezes. No, he loses the rear end. Vincent Good's going to get right back past him side by side up the hill now.
Oh, that's got to be infuriating for Rojak. All that hard work, one of the great passes of the day. We've been looking forward to some super overtaking, but that the Tosa, just the real slide, the oversteer let him down. But we can convert now to our race leader's camera and pretty much bow down to the superiority of Shimon. He has absolutely walked it here in race 1 of FS1, and there we go. He's collected those maximum points from pole position, and he'll be over the moon with that, Yousuf.
What a drive. Jack Mir will take a very well-deserved P2, really up the pace in the final few laps of the race to keep Thomas Harvey at bay. Mike Quint will take a very, very good P4. Patrick Rojak, he's going to have his head in his hands as Guzovsky is battling now with Meadow Quad, trying to go around the outside of Ravanza. That's an audacious move and a half. Looks to get the drive out of the final corner, but won't have enough time to pull up alongside. He's in the slipstream, pulls across with a checkered flag, and the timing line is just too early on the straight for him.
Yeah, that lap traffic could have made a difference if there was one lap further to go. But there we go. We can see our drivers who have achieved a points-paying finish have all made it. So congratulations again to Freilich and the TOP team, the TOP esports team, to give them their full name. They have secured the 1-2 finish that they really wouldn't have dared dream about until this very day. They knew they could do it, but to say it, they absolutely had a guarantee on it. There's no certainty of that, but they have achieved it. So they'll be, dancing in the moonlight, and we'll see whatever reverse grid criteria will do for them. So the fingers will be crossed that they don't lose out too much.
And on the last lap of the race, Carlos Martin got the fastest lap, a 26.0. So I think he pitted just to get a new set of tyres on and pick up that fastest lap. I don't know if there are any points for fastest lap, but Carlos Martin will be starting a few places further down the order. And you got to feel bad for Patrick Rojak. What a move. The best overtake, I think, of the race. And then he just made that mistake coming out of Tosa and handed the position back to Vincent on the final lap of the race.
Yeah, there is a bonus point available for fastest lap, but he was outside the top 15. But we will quickly review those results for you once again. Freilich and Mayer complete the 1-2 result. Harvey, Quint, Gut, Rojak, Watson, Jabinski, Klont, and Guzovsky are the top 10. So congratulations to all of them. They were very competitive from start to finish and made their pit stops count when they came up. The remaining points are offered out to Dragoon, Gila, Lucchini, Hoekstra, and Thielin. That's a good result for him after what we saw from FS2. He gets a point. Drivers that made it to the end: Koenig, Novotny, Vakunov, Delera, Martin, Russo there on the lead lap, and then we have Russo downwards. They were lapped at least once. Hamming, Marino, Faria, Miram, Fuentes, but then DNFs for Folks, Lehu, as we saw, that felt like eternity ago, Yousuf, that tragic accident that saw him rolling in the gravel trap out of Tamburello. Hakimi and De Vries also didn't get to see the finish.
And now this tends to mean that with the Alex Lehu misfortune, we're going to see an Alex Lehu masterclass in the reverse grid race, and somehow he's going to make his way into the top 10 and have the Driver of the Day award. He always manages it somehow, and that's pretty much how every day goes, or every race day goes for Alex Lehu.
Yeah, I usually see him in the GPVWC Discord having the great times of it. I'm sure he'll dust himself down and try again. That is his attitude, and I'm looking forward to seeing that reverse grid draw. see what could occur. For the moment, let's take a quick break and we'll be back with race 2. And welcome back, everybody. GPVWC Formula Sprint 1 returns for race 2 momentarily. So Yousuf and I, Eoin Harmon, have had a great time getting to work together for our debut in the booth, and we'll be getting another chance to witness more driving supremacy from our FS1 drivers. And just a moment after the warm-up session comes to a close. And Yousuf, you have some news about who has reverse grid pole.
I do indeed. It is around P7, which means Omari Watson is going to be on pole, which should be, I think, enough to spice things up, as Netrex GP will take that pole position. But yeah, really good opening race we saw for Shimon Frelich and Jack Mayer for TOP Esports with that 1-2, but Thomas Harvey was really starting to find his feet, and in this reverse grid race, going to be starting ahead of the TOP drivers in 5th place.
Yeah, that is a very valuable point. The chance to make up those places on the reverse grid. It is crucial for the winners of the opening race, the TOP duo, first and second, of course. But Harvey having that chance to be the leader and force those guys to have to overtake. They had very little overtaking work to do in FS1's race 1. So yeah, this is a different experience for the guys. And if they want to convert another 20 points in the bag to go with the 25 for Frelich there in race 1, they're going to have to learn to overtake today. So we'll see if that Imola factor comes into play again. We saw very, very tense driving for the drivers. The opportunities to overtake were minimal, and if there's a chance in this sprint format, the reduced lap times, about 21 laps, is it, Yousuf?
Correct, yep, 21 laps.
Yeah, good to hear that for sure. So yeah, the shorter format should bring alive a few more drivers and potentially a chance for other guys who did not get to enjoy themselves in race 1 to have another crack at it. Certainly would be interested to see the likes of Russo there and Lucchini. Would be a very keen driver to see how he gets on. And of course, Lahu, our most high-profile DNF from race 1. He went very high in the barrel roll and the first corners. So yeah, it is his chance to make good for his weekend, getting off to a horrible start. But yeah, in the warm-ups, he's actually put in a very strong time. So that TCS off, number 42, he's got a lot to prove here tonight.
I feel like Alex Lahu is just me, but a sim racing version of me, because whenever I used to have my karting races in the British University Karting Championship, it'd always be the first race I'd completely bottle. And then the second race, it wasn't reverse grid, it was where you finished from the previous race. I'd have to start from the very back of the field. And then I'd end up finishing in the top 5. And I'd just be thinking, if only I didn't bottle the first race, I could have been starting from 5th instead of 30th. But it just kept happening, and it was very annoying, but kind of funny in hindsight. And Alex Lahu just seems to have that same kind of luck. I think the big thing to really be watching out for with this race, Owen, is to see what tires do people select. I'm expecting pretty much everyone to be going for the hard compound tires. That's the one with the yellow wall on the tires, so not like Formula 1 where yellow wall would suggest medium. We'll see though if anyone does want to try to go for those softs.
Yeah, so Lucchini, for example, he had that off at the final corner with his worn-out tire. So yeah, he'll probably be the benchmark for everyone to follow along. But our formation lap is underway, so we can now check out the reverse grid order in full. As Yousuf mentioned, it's reverse grid pole for Omari Watson, and he'll be followed along by Patrick Roszak. Then Gut as P3 and Quint P4. Then the guys that shone in race 1, we have Harvey in 5th, Mayer 6th, and our race 1 winner, Frelich 7th. Zabinski drove very well to defend from the likes of Klont and his teammate Gazowski and Dragoon, but they'll be starting where they finished last time out. And Gila there for Build Sim in P12. And then running down there for number 13 there, it's Lucchini, representing Alpha Delta Racing and Wopka Hoekstra. They're just outside the points, or just inside the points. Then we have Thailand, Koenig, Novotny, Volkanov, Dalera, Martin set the fastest lap in race 1, of course. Then Russo, Hamming, Marino, and Freya. Then running down the order to complete our grid, we've got Miram, Fuentes, Folks, then Lehu gets the chance again from the back, and our final driver, it's Hakimi. So we do have one driver missing compared to our race 1. So yeah, that's answers our postcard if you know who that is.
I'm also wondering if the Alpha Delta Racing driver, I forget who it was, I think it was Lucchini. If this is the same Alpha Delta Racing that I actually commentate on over in Daytona Multi Keynes. But anyway, back to the race at hand. We have a lot of drivers on the hard tyres. We've got a couple of drivers on the soft tyres. Menoclon, Mashihaila, Lucchini. These are going to be drivers to watch out for in the first 10 or so laps. And then after that, expect the harder tyre runners to really start to pick up pace.
Yeah, as you predicted, Yousuf, most drivers going for the harder compound tyre, but yeah, a few curveballs are being thrown in, and this is a great chance for them to make up places, such as Kalon. He is gambling on the softer tyre, and we see Hakimi has reached his grid slots. We can get those lights illuminated for race 2. Just a moment to go now, waiting for the first signal. Here we go, 3, 4, 5, and long haul, but they're away. Can Watson convert that pole into a win? No, looks like he's been overtaken by Roshak. Roshak has the outside line, heading into Tamburello. And we've got Gush and Quint side by side as well. Got to keep it clean though. Here we are. A little bit of dust kicked up in the background. There is someone gonna take the shortcut through that gravel, Yousuf.
Yeah, a bit of disaster through the Tamburello chicane, but what a start for Patrick Roszak. Now he needs to get his head down and try to pull away from this train as quickly as possible before the likes of Shimon Frelick, Thomas Harvey, and what has happened to Jack Mayer? He's lost a few positions on the start, but anyway, before those three can get through the field, Patrick Roszak needs to stretch his lead, and he's put in a really good opening sector. Now he just needs to get sector 2, sector 3 done, and he needs to get that 1 second lead out to Amari Watson before the DRS becomes available.
Yeah, so we can see trouble for Mayer, but Frelick has made it into the 5th place ahead of Harvey, so that'll be huge news there for TOP in their ambitions to get the clean sweep of the weekend. But absolutely wonderful news here for Roszak in the Build Sim Volpino's rebadged team. So we'll see how they get on. Yeah, he's got a good job here, getting away from Watson. And Quint, yeah, he's keeping the guys honest though here, Yousuf.
And Mashihaila in P9 with those soft tyres, expecting to just have that little bit of an edge versus those around him. Needs to gain track position so then he can try to hold what will be some very, very quick, hard tyre runners for the final 5 or 6 laps of the race. Amari Watson keeping in check with Patrick Roszak, Shimon Frelick and Thomas Harvey now starting to close in onto the back of Vincent Gut, who is dropping behind Mike Quint and this three-way back into the lead.
Yeah, and just on the bottom of our screens, we can see several drivers have taken to the pits, so something did happen to Menno. Lehu in the pit.
Alex Lehu.
And Wopka Hoekstra as well. So yeah, a lot of drivers immediately taking the pit lane. There must have been some wheel banging and in contact. But yeah, let's see now. Watson wants this lead straight back. Roszak having to keep him at bay there at Variante Alta. But yeah, that's a great exit though for Roszak. And Watson has lost that brief window that he could have had, but now DRS will bring this race alive again after the 2 laps of pure free-for-all. And if anything, the multi-force for Quint is gaining on Watson. So see those last lap times come in. Yeah, Quint very quick, but good. And Mayer both hitting purple now. Here's Quint for second position. Can he pull it off on the outside? No. It's Watson blocking him as hard as he dare.
This all worked out really well for Patrick Rojak, who has now extended his advantage to nearly 1 second. And I think Patrick Rojak actually made a mistake going through Acqua Minerale. That's how Omari Watson was able to get up practically alongside, heading into Variante Alta. I can't see how else Watson was able to pull alongside, as we're seeing Jack Mayer muscling his way through onto Binsky, now behind Thomas Harvey, and can join into the two who were on the podium with him at the end of race 1. We've got a yellow flag out momentarily, as behind that is a bit of a battle going on, as that is bin-Suhayl finding a way through onto Binsky.
Yeah, Zabinski understeered out of Piratella though, Yousuf, so he was trying to get back at Mayer. It didn't work, and unfortunately it's double down the pain, as bin-Suhayl has made it through as well.
bin-Suhayl on those soft tyres. He needs to make his way through the field as quickly as possible so he can utilize the soft tyres to their absolute maximum.
Yeah, the window of opportunity, it's narrow for Build Sim guy, but he's got the chance to emulate his teammate. But here comes Quint on the inside, clean as a whistle, and Watson losing 2 positions after drawing his lucky number out of the reverse grid draw, and it could be a further pain for Watson if he isn't careful. And we can see that's Frank Hamming trying to chase down Alex Folks. The HGP driver going to do his best there, but Folks does have tyre advantage being on the soft compound at the moment. Yeah, as we do speculate, those soft tyres won't be able to last the full 21 lap distance.
And it was a really good overtake from Mike Quint as well. Textbook overtake really into turn 1. He's up to P2. We'll see whether he can close in on to Patrick Rojak as well, who is now 1.3 seconds at the front of this train. 4 laps into our second race of the day.
Yeah, and we'll see if any new fast laps come in. It is Island able to set the standard there, but he'll be coming from the very back in 23rd, as a matter of fact. He has hit 126s, but that is not an obvious case because he has lost time in the pits. Vincent Gutt here, can he get onto the podium? We saw him competing well in race 1, but didn't go all his own way. Watson not having a joyous opening stint here, but Gutt has not reached the side-by-side positioning he really needed there, Yousuf.
Yeah, Vincent Gutt is just struggling just that little bit, but he is right on the back of Omari Watson and Mike Quinton. These three could just work together now for a little bit, just to try to close in to Patrick Rojak and the front of this train. And Patrick Rojak will just be hoping that this trio can keep the other trio that was on the podium in race 1 of Shimon Frelick, Thomas Harvey and Jack Mayer at bay. And the longer those three stay behind, the better news it is for Patrick Rojak in his attempt to pick up a first race win of the season.
Yeah, and Rojak has pulled out a fairly, very respectable lead. It is over second now. There it is on the interval table. So he is pulling well and truly clear of Quint. The double T of GU double T, Vincent Gutt here. Can he close down Watson, who has probably put in his best lap of the race so far? It looks like he is able to recover from his disappointments in the beginning. So there should be a stronger lap time for Watson. And if anything, Gutt will be threatened by a race 1 winner, Frelick, very soon, but it may be too soon. That is not close enough, if I'm honest.
And Patrick Rojak now 1.6 seconds ahead. And if you're the likes of Omari Watson and Vincent Gutt, do you have faith in Mike Quint to close down that deficit, or do you try to battle to get ahead? And do do the hard work yourself. Either way, Patrick Rojak is going to be in a very good spot as Carlos Martin is really working his way through the order. Going to try to have a go into Tosa, a bit far behind. That being said though, Dragoon runs a little bit wide and Carlos Martin is on the brink of making his way into the top 10, and this train goes all the way up to Mike Quint in second place.
Yeah, and I'm sure Martin is inspired not only by his strong performance in terms of getting the fast lap in on his changed tyres, but yeah, Freilich has made it through. Vincent Gutt struggling in sector 2 there, must have been out of Aqua Minerale, that he has been disposed, and Freilich is going to push Watson to the limit. That other Netrex driver, the lime green and black liveried car. So Vincent Gutt has his teammate right behind him now. The two Spark drivers may be in consultation, and Vincent may be told, don't push your teammate, let him go if he is alongside you.
Vincent will sit behind then. Thomas Harvey should just be allowed through, and exactly as you predicted, no fighting from Vincent Gutt, who is now definitely going to fight with Jack Mayer behind. You can be absolutely certain of that, and the two Spark Racing teammates will be in DC, and I'm sure Vincent will be being told by Thomas Harvey, right, for all your life's work, as you mentioned, very good dive coming through from Jack Mayer, trying to get the move done as quickly as possible, but Vincent Gutt holding his nerve and holds it around the outside of the Tosa hairpin.
Yeah, let's look at Gila as well, gotten the soft tires working to a treat here for himself. He can give Jack, the FS2 champion of 2022, some extra thinking to pretty much ponder. So yeah, if Jack goes for another dive bomb and times it very poorly, then he will in fact lose a position. And now the run down to Ravazza. I think Jack is lining up the move right now. Yousuf, he's got to pull it out here and now, or else he will find his race really struggling as we do reach the first third.
Here we go then, Jack Mayer, he's got DRS, but the issue is so does Vincent Gutt, and Vincent is going to go defensive. Thomas Harvey providing his teammate with that critical DRS super late on the brakes, and Vincent Gutt almost runs into the back of Thomas Harvey as we head towards the Villeneuve chicane.
Oh yeah, great undercut there for Mayer, but unfortunately just the degree of corner entry there, it's not sharp enough. I'm sure Mayer would have appreciated a 90-degree left there. He would have been able to get further alongside. And well done to Vincent on that defense. But yeah, the fact is he's going to have to keep doing that over and over again. And then the build sim of Gila's right there as well. So yeah, there's absolutely no rest for the weary, everyone here watching along with us tonight.
Meanwhile, up front, Patrick Rojak still 1.5 seconds clear of Mike Quint. Last time round, 1/10 slower than Mike. So Mike is slowly making his way towards that 1 second DRS window, but Szymon Freilich is up to P4, hunting down Omari Watson, and critically, Omari Watson doesn't have DRS from Mike Quint to just give himself that little bit of extra defensive capabilities against a TOP esports driver.
Yeah, that's going to expose Watson somewhat. It's a chance if Szymon was feeling frisky, but he didn't. And now right behind them, this is trouble now as Gutt has been demoted not once, it is twice. If Gila can hang on yet, Gila has all four wheels in front, so Gutt has been dislodged and Mayer put him under sufficient pressure.
A really good job then from Jack Mayer, and well, Vincent Gutt trying so hard to defend from Jack Mayer, he compromises himself presumably against Mashi-Hyler. Don't forget that Mashi-Hyler is running with those softer compound tyres, so we are expecting those tyres to drop off in about 5 or 6 laps, and then Mashi-Hyler is going to have a big defensive drive to do. But the further up Mashi can make his way, the better of a shot he'll have in this race, which, now that I say it out loud, very obvious as that is, I believe, Imola just running a little bit wide coming out of Variante Alta.
Yeah, that was Freilich for definite. And behind him it is Thomas Harvey. So these two gonna probably be competing for plenty of wins as the year goes on. And it'll be a statement for Harvey if he can exploit that mistake. It was only minor out of Variante Alta, but if any further flippant pieces of driving there for Freilich that were to occur, Harvey will be right there to pounce, and that will be really disappointing for Freilich after being so comprehensively dominant in the first race, converting the pole position to the race win. We can now check out our never give up hero, Martin. He's chasing Guzkowski in 11th place right now, and Martin is now on the medium tires like the majority of the grid are, but yeah, he's putting those heat into the brakes.
What has happened to Martin then? Because he was behind Dragoon before, so Dragoon has seemingly found a way through on Guzovsky, and Carlos Martin wasn't able to follow through. As what's happened at the front? Patrick Rojak has made a mistake, and Mike Quint now leading this race.
Yeah, it looks like Sector 2, he would have lost over second, and that's all that Quint needed to completely turn this race on its head. I wish we saw exactly what happened. But yeah, this is real frustration for Rojak, and Watson is in range of the attack as well. So Quint puts Multiforce, the most experienced team in this 2023 grid, but maybe Rojak will want it straight back. No, it's not going to happen that time. But in a really disappointing incident on his own, Rojak from first to second, Yousuf.
I think that is Carlos Martin finding a way through on Guzovsky. Sorry, that's Dragoon having made a move either way. Patrick Rojak is all over the place. His rear end really stepping out, coming out of close the corner, and that's going to allow Szymon Freilich up into second. So Szymon Freilich off screen found a way through on Amari Watson. Amari Watson has just been overtaken by Thomas Harvey, and now Szymon Freilich is going to be hunting down new race leader Mike Quinn.
Yeah, I can just see on my YouTube playback Rojak understeered in Tosa, and that put off Watson. So Watson was in the wrong part of town. Freilich was given the generous space, and he took full advantage. So that was just an unfortunate crescendo effect that demoted Watson. There's nothing he could have done about it. But Rojak is struggling.
Oh, Thomas Harvey, no! He's being collected. What was going on? It looked like, I mean, to me, that looked like Rojak was allowing Thomas Harvey through, and then just hit his rear end heading down into the double left-hander. I don't quite know what Patrick Rojak was doing there.
Yeah, he's just struggling, I'm afraid, Yousuf. I think his tyres are giving up to an extent, and that is a gift for Jan Dragoon. He is now 7th. So it's an awful downturn, and Harvey again, his weekend has not, or his week has not gone to plan. He would have been competing for that podium, and off in the background was that aforementioned Dragoon. It was, so his gift has been returned without a receipt. I'm afraid he will not be celebrating anything in race 2. That's a disaster.
Oh dear me, Dragoon was having such a good drive as well, and well, we're still looking at Thomas Harvey. He's got to find a way through on Patrick Rojak, and he won't be best pleased with the incident that has just occurred between the pair of them. I think the issue for Patrick Rojak is whatever mistakes he previously made, I think he overheated his tyres, and his tyres have just never really recovered, and it means that the rear end is always just that little bit slippery every time he tries to put the power down. As we head down the hill now towards Acqua Minerale, Thomas Harvey needs to find a way through as quickly as possible. Sorry, not down towards Acqua Minerale, down into Rivazza.
Yeah, so we'll need to really give the viewers a chance to process that incredible last lap we've all witnessed. So Quint has the lead, that's no problem. But Freilich up to second place. But now we'll interrupt Harvey. Harvey will be absolutely incandescent with rage, having his race interrupted the way it was without really him being responsible for it. It was just a racing incident, but he was the, deeply, he was looking good, and then just that deeply frustrating bit of contact has knocked him down a bit. So Freilich looking to catch up to Quint and get the double result for races 1 and 2. Gila is now third, so Watson, who was briefly back ahead, and we can see on the cameras, Gila has now put those soft tires to great use and has P3 for build sim. So that is an absolutely wonderful strategy call for Gila if he can keep this going. And Jack Mayer has actually had a pretty good outcome from that previous incident, and he is occupying 5th position.
For Suhayl right now, this is a high-risk, high-reward strategy. If he can make this strategy work, he's looking at a podium, he's looking at a top 5, and if it fails, those tyres, with how hard they might drop off, he might even fall outside of the top 10, maybe even outside of the top 14. I'd say top 15, but Fuentes is 12 seconds down on Mika Hakimi. Either way, Omari Watson staying within touching distance of Suhayl, then Jack Mayer just behind Watson. And keep your eyes out for Thomas Harvey, who will be fast approaching this train for P3.
Yeah, Harvey is getting back into the ideal lap time window, just behind the likes of Freilich there. So he's just within about 500ths of his last lap time. So Harvey will be back in contention momentarily, but Watson, who had that pole position from the reverse grid draw, he has Mayer to worry about very soon, but he would love to get the podium back off Gila, and whatever happens next. But yeah, Freilich is now charging along here. He's getting very good sector times in now. 28.0 in sector 1 this time around. It is very close to Quint though in sector 2. So DRS will open for the Polish driver as we finish up Hrvatsa number 2 there now onto the start finish. Can Quint somehow deny the number 74 TOP esports driver a shot at the double victory?
Here comes Szymon Freilich closing in at a vast rate of knots, but too far behind to have a go into the Tamburello chicane. We'll have to sit behind for now. There is no real rush for Szymon Freilich. He knows he has the pace advantage. He doesn't have to try anything crazy. He just has to bide his time and pull off a nice clean overtake.
Yeah, he's still got a decent amount of time to do it, 7 laps or so, and it's only the last one that will give him either that victory or not. So yeah, it is the chance to really show Quint the strength of the TOP esports car, and just how well it's been adjusted to the crests and the hills of Imola. So yeah, Quint from Multiforce would love to find the winning formula here, but it's going to require fantastic defensive driving. But he's setting the lap times that he needs. He's able to trade 10th with Freilich, but it's all to that DRS that will be a huge factor if and when Freilich can get alongside. He's got the time in hand to do it, but he needs to pick his moment and make it count.
I think there's a song that goes like that. I got the time. Anyway, enough of my tangents about music. Here we still have our battle for third place. So Suhayl unable to stretch ahead of Omari Watson and Jack Mayer. You can see Jack Mayer right behind Omari Watson, and then Vincent Gutt and Thomas Harvey. Thomas Harvey slowly closing on in. We ride on board with Jack Mayer, goes really deep into the Villeneuve chicane. Question is, when do those tyres start to drop off for Suhayl? I think we're starting to reach the crossover point now. If you remember back to race 1, Owen, this is the point where we started to see all of the soft tyre runners making their pit stops for the hard tyres.
Yes, it was just over halfway in that 31 lap race. So yeah, 50% was good. Boiling point now. Pardon the interruption. Now we have Freilich into the lead. He has managed to dislodge Quint, and he is now going to have a chance to use that experience from race one and go for the victory. Quint probably has one last chance. It was definitely in sector 2 where that move took place. You can see, I can see in the timing screens just over about 1.1 seconds in the time difference. So Freilich will be caught a little bit by the DRS. But yeah, the lead change just caught at the very end by our camera worker for the day, Tom Stevens. So yeah, Yousuf, it is coming true. Freilich is within double opportunity here.
Perfect drive then for Szymon Freilich. Has kept his nose clean all day long, all evening long. Pole, race 1 win, race 2 win. You literally can't ask for anything more than that.
No, that is pretty much the ideal start to the season. Still a long way to go. Plenty of months and weeks ahead for these drivers. But yeah, Quinn so far, he has kept within parity of Freilich in Sector 1. Can he do the same in Sector 2? They're crossing the line now. Yeah, Quint is gaining, so Quint is not going to concede this race by any stretch. So we will keep an eye out on this. Gila, we'll see him by comparison. He is starting to lose time, so Watson could also get onto the podium again and make the most out of that reverse grid pole.
And Omari Watson will just be a little bit upset with maybe his race start, but either way, P4 is still going to be a really good result. Where is Patrick Roja dropped down to after all of this? He's actually down in P8. Remember, he was leading the race before. Whatever mistake he made just allowed the entire field to get past him when he was leading by about 1.5 seconds over. At the time, I believe it was Mike Quint.
Yeah, it would have been Roshak first from Quint in second, but Freilich has gotten his P1 back after starting. It was 8th, I think, on reverse grid. So
P7.
Excuse me, yeah, P7. Yeah, my mistake. So we'll now see what the other TOP driver can do in terms of getting close to his own record of P2 from race 1. He is giving Watson a real run for his money. So running down into Acqui Minerali. There we go. We'll see those guys competing with DRS in a moment. But Quint is definitely giving this race 110%. He has lost the lead somewhere about 4 laps ago, but he has a chance to redeem himself and get the race 2 victory that would be so valuable to Malta Force. They'd be absolutely thrilled to have a win after a pretty middling season for them in 2022.
And with Mike's teammate Menacon currently out of the point in P17, Malta Force could really use this podium. I don't think Mike's going to try to battle Szymon, is my feeling. I think he's just going to try to stick along with him for the ride and take this P2 on circuit. Jack Mayer, though, still right on the back of Omari Watson, and you can see Vincent Good just behind this yellow flag out in sector 2 as Mayer lost the rear end, and he can't catch the 360 into the tyre barrier as he goes, loses the front wing, and is disaster for TOP Esports.
Yeah, Villeneuve, Variante Villeneuve has brought an end to the interest of Jack Mayer in race 2, and he has just no way of continuing. He has not been able to restart his car, and he is just going to have to wait and wait and wait for the traffic for when he can get going. He might have just conceded the day, Yousuf. That is gutting.
Yep, it's
absolutely gutting.
I think he's just done with that mistake. I think he knows with no front wing he's not going to be able to make his way into the point, so he has just decided to call it quits. And I can't really blame him with just 2 laps remaining, as Mike Quint still sticking along with Szymon Frelick doing a really good job. But this has really played well then after this mistake from Jack Mayer will play into the hands of Thomas Harvey and Vincent Gut for Spark, who are currently running in P6 and P5 respectively.
So yeah, this is a chance for Harvey. He would love to try and catch Gut and make top 5 out of today. But yeah, that is a big blow, so Szymon will be noticing that, and now the pressure will be applied to him in the penultimate lap. Fastest lap was logged in there from one of the drivers, Thielen at the back. So yeah, he has a chance just having that honour again. Yeah, or well, a chance. Well, no, it was Martin who got the first race fastest lap. But yeah, Quint is. We can really see him at work here out of Acqui Minerali, and if he can cause Frelick to go into that runoff again, it would put the real shot of adrenaline that would be really, really helpful at this time. But it is the last lap coming up, Yousuf. Is there a chance that Quint can and shock Frelick for the win?
Well, you can see Mike Quint really pushing down into Ravazza. He knows he needs to get the run from here. He needs to close in onto Szymon Frelick. He's going to get DRS, but I think he's just too far back. 5/10 as he comes across the line. You really need that gap to be down to about 4, if not 3/10, and Szymon Frelick will hold on to the lead into the Tamburello chicane.
That was a hit and half of the curbs for Quint. It didn't obviously knock him sideways, but it would have unsettled the car a little bit, and Frelick will have paid attention to his own entry, and I think he got a bit better now into Tosa. Is there any oversteer? No, that TOP car is planted. So yeah, as a matter of fact, Frelick has gained a 10th further in that first sector. There was a lap traffic car just in the distance. No, it's not in this camera shot. Yeah, there could possibly be blue flags to signal the end of this race, but last chance saloon, it has to be Ravazza or nothing if Quint's going to win. But it just feels like inevitable victory, the back-to-back success for Szymon Frelick.
Fantastic drive from Szymon Frelick and TOP Esports to get 2 wins on the day. Take nothing away from Mike Quint. This is a really, really impressive drive from the Malta Force driver, but for Szymon Frelick, he's going to be absolutely delighted with his performance today.
Yeah, he's put in the pre-season preparation, and it has been the ultimate reward. A sweep of the evening here at Imola, and TOP by name, TOP by nature.
Also, big shout out to Marino. Huge strategy call going onto the soft tyres, and he completely and utterly pulled off the strategy to perfection. A podium for Marino. Amari Watson will take P4 ahead of the Spark Racing duo of Vincent Gut and Thomas Harvey in 5th and 6th place.
Yeah, a little bit of synchronized swimming for the Hyperion guys to celebrate a job well done. That is no mean feat to drive like that in both of the races, but it is the Polish driver of the day. It is Szymon Frelick. Absolutely outstanding performances, qualifying race 1 and race 2. I couldn't see a single fault from apart from that one runoff just about lap 4 at the Variante Alta. That was it. Nothing else has rattled Szymon, and he has a commanding championship lead already, Yousuf.
I believe it will be Thomas Harvey who is 2nd in the championship alongside Mike Quint. I think those two are going to be very close together. Probably going to see the likes of Vincent Gut and Omari Watson sitting 5th in the championship. But we'll have to wait for that to all be officially added up, wait for penalties to come into play and all of that hoo-ha. But there is confirmation then of the final results before any stewards' investigations of penalties. Szymon Frelick picking up the double victory. What a performance.
Yeah, I have been able to speak with Shimon plenty of times. We have been able to have some fun and games on Discord as well. So yeah, I'm very impressed with him so far in 2023, and he's got to keep that up for Bahrain and beyond. So yeah, we'll run down the order for you once again. It was Freilich, Quint, Gila, Watson, Gut, Harvey, Roshak, Guzgovsky, Jabinski, and Hamming in the top 10. Then, as you can see, 11 through 20, Koenig, Russo, Bakanov, Klont, Miram, Hoekstra, Fuentes, Dallara, Tilleen, Novotny, they were top 20. DNFs for the following drivers, unlucky for different reasons. Mayer, the massive crash there. We saw Villeneuve, Hakimi, Furia, Dragun. Disappointment for him after we had hope. Martin, similarly enough, we had hope. He didn't make it. Folks, and again, Lehu. Oh dear, I'm sorry to single out Alex, but that is just a horrible start to his season. Then Marino and Lucchini as well. One of the Italian representatives feeling very disappointed for his race too. So Yousuf, do you have any further thoughts on what we've seen this evening?
Not too much to add. Incredibly close in qualifying. Can't wait for the Bahrain Grand Prix, the second round of the season, in 2 weeks' time on Thursday, once again. And I think we're just going to have some really good racing, especially between the two TOP esports guys and Thomas Harvey. I think it's probably going to be a three-way battle for them in the championship, but the rest of the field from 4th down to about 15th is so incredibly close. And if any of them can find an extra 10th or 2/10, they're going to be joining that three-way battle right at the sharp end of the field.
Yeah, that should give us plenty of speculation and excitement for 2 weeks' time, the St. Patrick's Day Eve. So I get a day off from work the following Friday, so lucky me. But yeah, that is a great treat to look forward to in advance. Bahrain is a track that I remember well from Super League, produced some very good racing, and I hope for the same for FS1. So yeah, a long way to go in the season. It's all the way to Brazil in October. That's a long way away. It will feel like an eternity, but race 1 and 2 for FS1 are in the books. So well done to those drivers making all the preparation count on the day. And yeah, I'm very, very pleased that myself and Yousuf have gotten down swimmingly to begin with. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, good first cast for the season. Pleasure to be alongside you, Eoin, and to many more. I'd raise a glass for a toast, but I don't have a glass, and I can't toast your glass if you do have one.
I just have a water bottle here in my hand, so yeah, that's all I can really say. But now it's the interview segment of the broadcast, and we will be delighted to welcome our first guest. So looking forward to what I presume is our race winner, Shimon Freilich. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what he has to say.
Let me grab Shimon by the scruff.
There we are. Can you hear us, Shimon?
Yes, hello.
So mighty congratulations to you. You performed the clean sweep, qualifying, pole position, and the races 1 and 2. So did you feel this was a possibility heading into the weekend?
Yeah, well, race 2, not quite. We knew that we were quick in the race, but I was surprised by the qualifying being this close. I thought maybe we're not as good as we thought, but then as the race 1 progressed, yeah, we just pulled a gap because these tires are a bit more sensitive than they used to be in the past years. So
Yeah.
race 1 was just a checklist. To be honest, we were just doing what we did in race sims. No one was bothering us. But then the race 2, I was just keeping my head down, trying to see what's going on ahead of me, because in the trains you can't really do anything but just sit there. And I was lucky, very lucky, that I got a move on both Omari and Patrick Rojak. And I think that was crucial. for me to win in race 2. I got past Mike Quinn, but he didn't. He put up a fight. I had to drive at my best in the last couple of laps, but luckily I held on to it. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Now you had a very solid control of the race. Did you know exactly what happened to Mike? We just didn't catch it on the broadcast at the time. You gained, I think, a second over him in sector 2 and made the pass.
I was following him into Aquaman Rally, and he lost his rear turning into the second right, and had to skip over the anti-cuts and at the inside. So yeah, that was the overtake.
Very good. Yousuf, do you have any questions?
Just one thing I wanted to ask Shimon. In the first race, you mentioned that you didn't really have anything to worry about from behind, but Thomas Harvey was really starting to put the pressure onto your teammate Jack Mayer. But I'm guessing you two were in call together. So was he ever really worried about the pressure from behind, or did he always know that he had enough pace to keep him behind?
Jack was concerned about Tom. I wasn't. I was checked out at the front, but TOP and Spark work with each other, so I mean, I guess there would have been a fight, but it wouldn't have been a very hard-fought fight if it happened. But yeah, I wasn't worrying about Tom. It was more Jack, but he held on to it.
Very good, Shimon. Yeah, thanks very much for your time, and good luck in Bahrain.
Thank you.
Do we have any other people to drag in, Eoin?
Yeah, I see 2 people in the waiting room, so you've got your choice of Alex Lahou or Eoin McGoggy.
You're the one doing the interview, so you just tell me who to drag in, and I will bring them in.
Well, I may as well nominate Eoin McGoggy then. He'd be absolutely buzzing, having seen his team perform so well. So yeah, let's hear from Eoin. Can you hear us, Eoin?
Hello.
Hi there. So from one Eoin to another, how are you feeling after a very strong performance from your team today?
Definitely for Shimon, and especially for race 1. Like it couldn't have gone better. But race 2 with Jack's screen freeze and issue, it's I'm not feeling 100%. I'm not feeling really good about it. But I mean, it's 2 wins and 3 podiums, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, actually, we wouldn't have known it was a screen freeze for Jack. So yeah, he just must have been like he was doing his job as normal, and then just all of a sudden the screen freezes. So is there any history of him having that problem in the past? Like, I would have seen him in Super League, generally made it to the finish okay. So is he able to figure out the problem and deal with it for next time?
I haven't heard or seen him have that problem before. It happened at the start of the race as well when there was that collision with Menno. It was like a really small stutter, and Menno jumped up in the air, and yeah, that didn't look very good. But it seemed all right until whatever happened then. And at the start as well, there was a bit of an issue, which is why he lost a few positions at the start, but that was unrelated to the screen freezes.
Okay, yeah, I understand. But anyway, Bahrain in 2 weeks. Do you think there is a way to potentially get another triple success with the pole position and race 1 and race 2, or is there any threat that you think could deny you guys in the next fortnight?
I mean, there's always threats, and just by how close the grid looked in quali, that was unexpected. I didn't think the top 20 would be separated by a second, so there's always going to be a threat. Just one little mess up in quali, and it could be down to P10 or something. But we'll put in the work, and I'll force Shimon and Jack to work together and try and do something even better than what they did today. And I'm looking forward to Bahrain.
And we are as well, Eoin. Thank you so much for your time, and see you then.
Cheers.
So now Alex Lahoo is next in line. So let's hear from poor old Alex. A very disappointing day for Alex. So Alex, commiserations. Can you tell us, particularly for race 1, what happened?
Hi. Happy birthday, Tom Stevens. He's in the voice chat as well. Is there anything really to say about race 1? I
Well,
spent
to be
2
honest,
whole
no.
laps. I casually just spent 2 whole laps looking for, a way back into the track. It actually worked out.
We actually
And
found a way back in.
I forgot to assign a button for pits anyway. So done. Yeah. We have
Yeah. Well, at
TCS
least,
off, race 1 curse, I guess.
yeah, it caught us completely off guard because Yousuf knows your background more than I do. He knows you're severely like struck with bad luck. So yeah, I'm really sorry. It caught us all off guard. It got barrel rolling through the gravel trap. But race 2, it was less clear on the broadcast. You were near the back, obviously. So did you get tangled up in an incident or anything like that?
Yeah. Yeah, race over on turn 2.
Ah, shucks. Yousuf, do you have any questions for poor old Alex?
Alex, when are you getting things together? You've got so much face. I'm looking forward for the double podiums coming up in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I completely hate this car. There's no stability at all. I don't know if it has something to do with setup or skill issue. But yeah, I can't take a single curve without the car just unsettling itself. It's
To be fair,
impossible.
I feel like Imola's a really bad circuit for just taking curbs in general, and probably the worst on the calendar. So I guess it's only going to get better from here on out.
Yeah, I'm also really bad. So it's a good combo. 2 negatives make a positive.
Yeah, well, I suppose Imola has become the new opening race. We used to go to Melbourne, I believe that was round 1 for the first years I was joining GPVWC. So do you think Bahrain is more suitable to your needs, a more conventional and modern circuit?
The last time I raced on Bahrain, I wasn't even in the points because I was just so slow.
Oh,
I'm not expecting anything, to be honest.
well, we'll certainly have your fan club giving you the very best of luck. We will. Hopefully I get to see the best of you. And thanks for your time, Alex. See you soon, hopefully.
Yeah, no problem. Happy birthday, Tom. Again. Thanks.
Thank you. And we also have a new entry into the waiting room. It's Maciej Hila, who performed that great strategy in race 2. So I'd love to hear from Maciej now. When he's ready, of course. Hi, Maciej. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Welcome to the interview room. So race 2, you managed to get the soft tires working and you got the podium. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm buzzing, man. I'm very, very happy about that podium. It's my first podium in GPV, so yeah, like even more of a reason to be happy about it. But yeah, did get like very lucky though with it. Like I have to say that there was an incident. I think it was, around 10 laps left, involving like the whole top 5, which I gained a lot of positions from. But
Yeah, it was
I was,
Rabat, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
But still, I was in that position to, get some position from that. So it
Yeah,
was a good
Yusuf in
race.
particular was very fascinated by the gamblers on the soft tires for race 2. So yeah, it was just a case where did you think this is my only chance? I have to gamble if I'm going to get a result for myself and my team.
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, I like throughout like the practice that I did before the race, and also in race 1, like on hard tires, I had really bad pace. So I knew I had to make the softs work somehow. Uh, I did kind of when I spent some time behind Jack Mayer. I kind of like preserved them a little bit, and I think that paid off later in the race where I could like keep them alive until the end.
Yeah, very good. Yusuf, do you have any questions?
Nothing that I can really think of. I think just a really good drive from yourself, Mashi, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of these strategies over the course of the season and hopefully some more podiums.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time, Mache, and I see you in Bahrain, and hopefully you get something else in race 1 as well as race 2.
Yep. All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. So, yeah, my voice is probably starting to call it quits, so I believe now is a good time to wrap it up for Formula Sprint 1 for 2023. My name is Eoin Harmon. I really appreciate your time, whether it's on the YouTube feed, it was on either in the Discord itself or on Twitter. We've all been very grateful to everyone tuning in today, and that was a very, very good introduction to FS1 for myself personally, and I hope to join you all again very soon in the next fortnight in Bahrain. So from myself and Yousuf bin-Suhayl, it's goodbye, and of course from Tom Stevens, not forgetting as well on Camerawork, it's a goodbye and see you again soon.